Hello everyone, it's Jamal Thomas. Welcome to the Progressive Soapbox. Let me check my volume. Guys, if you enjoy what I'm putting down, please feel free to share, like, subscribe, and you can always support through Patreon or Super Chat. I gotta be honest, I don't feel like doing the show, but I'm doing the show because Sam Ronan is a friend of the show. And when a friend of the show come across hard times or difficulties or things that look all in all bad, I like to draw attention to it. Particularly when the person drew attention to it themselves, and I suspect they drew attention to it for a reason. Sam Ronan became notable when he ran for the Democratic National Committee chair. He ran for the head. In one of the debates, they asked Tom Perez specifically, did they rig the election? Tom Perez, dancing man, gave a utterly ridiculous answer. They eventually moved to Sam Ronan, and Sam Ronan said yes. The only guy who answered honestly on the stage, yes, they rigged it. I understand all the incentives in the world were pushing Sam Ronan to answer that way because he wanted to distinguish himself from the crowd. Fair enough, but at the very least, he did. Sam Ronan lost that race and ended up running in the Ohio district. He believed that he had a better chance of running as a Republican than he did for running as a Democrat, in which case he switched parties and started to run as a Republican, even though none of his political leanings and political ideologies changed. In part, he did that because a lot of people who he met that were deep in the grain Republicans said, I love what you are saying. Love it. Love it. I could get behind it. I wish some of the other Republicans talked the way that you talk. But you're a Democrat, and I can't vote for anybody with a D beside their name. And he was also being hit from the other side, meaning we love the things that you say out of your mouth, but we can't vote for somebody with a D beside their name, even from the left. He joined the Republican Party. He lost that race also. And to boot, where they say when it rains, it pours, Sam Ronan, at around 2 a.m, gets the shit kicked out of him by cops on Facebook Live. That would be funny under any other context if you were watching a television show and it happened to a comedian, but it's not a comedian. It's a real person, and it really happened. I'm going to show you the video. And the only reason I'm showing it is because Sam Facebooked it. At one point, the cop points a taser at him, and Sam says, you're on Facebook Live. If you're going to do this, you're going to do this with the entire world watching. You're on Facebook Live. And the cop didn't tase him. Sam Ronan is possibly alive today because he videotaped this particular assault and this beating. Cops are maniacs. And fact is, it shouldn't have to be Sam Ronan with the video camera. The cops themselves needs to have a leash around their throats anytime they're going out in public and showing their faces from the standpoint of a capacity of the state. They should be videotaped. There should be videotape taking place as they go about their affairs. They've lost trust with the nation themselves that they themselves are supposed to be policing. Sam Ronan did nothing to take this beating. They just beat him. Let's look at the video. I didn't watch this video. I read everything around the video. But I'm going to watch it with you now. And we can go through a little bit more for the story, and we can look at what they charged him on afterwards.
Whatever the issue is, you yelling at me and threatening me to get on the ground is not relevant.
On the ground.
No,
on the ground.
I'm absolutely not getting on the ground. What do you think you're doing?
Before I even get further into this, I told my wife, I said, Sam Ronan got assaulted by cops. And she says, what? She says, he doesn't look white. I mean, he doesn't look black. I said, he's not black. She's like, and he got assaulted by cops? Yeah, he got assaulted by cops. Now, here's the thing. Advice from a random black man. Sam Ronan, just advice from a random black man. What you just did, no African American. This video this blows my mind just right here watching this. Now, I don't know why they stopped you. I don't know what you did prior to putting this video up on Facebook. There is no reason and justification for cops to beat Sam Ronan. There is a clear issue of this ability to be able to de-escalate a situation. That's the first point. The second point, though, is he said there is no reason for you to be yelling at me. And he says, get on the ground. Sam Ronan says, no, I'm not getting on the ground. Now, look, this is going bad right off the bat. And just from right here, even if I knew nothing else that was going to take place, I know one thing. Cops are maniacs. They have something wrong with them. Their ability to do the job has a certain amount of depraved indifference to human suffering that they use in order to pursue that job. Meaning there's some people who get a job in a talk show because those people can talk very well. The other people who get a job in software because they're very bright and smart. The other people who get jobs as scientists and physicists, let's say, software is not really bright and smart. Software is just being able to do this kind of logic stuff. But maybe physicists, because they're able to they have a certain interest. Meaning, I'm making a point that people do particular professions because they can leverage the thing that they have at their disposal to make money. It's a translation. I leveraged this in order to get this back. Cops leverage depraved indifference to human suffering and this kind of thing of authoritarianism in order to essentially do and go about their way. This is already starting off at a high pitch of escalation. And knowing nothing else about anybody else in the situation, only knowing that these are cops, I can tell you right now, this is going to go bad. This is going to go bad. I know of no African American that would have did what Sam Ronan just did. That's amazing. Your white skin does not protect you, ladies and gentlemen. I'm sorry, it doesn't. I know a lot of people think it does. It does not. There's a higher percentage of African Americans that get killed and murdered by cops. That is true. But we only make up 13% of the population. Cops murder thousands. And fact is, the majority of those people are white. The majority of those people are white. Thousands may be too strong. But let's say it this way. Cops murder a large number of people in comparison to other nations on this planet. And the majority of those people being murdered are white. Oftentimes, there are no consequences to the cops who commit those murders. Your white skin is not a protectant. It's only a protectant in comparison to us. It is not a protectant as an absolute. Sam Ronan could have lost his life here tonight. Let's finish this.
Let go of me! Let go of me! What is the problem?
Get on the ground. Your last chance. Get on the ground.
You're gonna stun me.
Get on the ground.
You do realize you're on live right now? You're on live.
Get on the ground.
No.
Get on the ground.
Now you
sir.
assaulted me.
Girl, get on the ground.
You haven't even told me what any issue is. For what?
Get on the ground, sir.
What am I under arrest for? Getting out of my car. Parking?
You stand up here. Step up. Get on the ground.
No.
On the ground.
What am I under arrest for?
Get on the ground.
Please tell me.
On the ground. No.
You have no.
Take you on the ground.
Then you have no legal grounds to arrest me. You can't just arrest me because you want to. As much as this is a police state, and as much as you feel like you are obligated to do this, you're not.
On the ground.
No. You say now you're assaulting me. Sir? I am not resisting.
Get on the ground.
I am defending myself from being assaulted
on the ground now.
by someone who claims to be an officer.
Get on the ground.
Sir, you are using excessive force.
Get on the ground.
You are both using excessive force.
Get on the ground. Listen to what you're told to do.
I want
Get
your
your
badge.
hand behind your back.
I want your badge.
Get
I
your
want
hand
your
behind your
supervisor.
back. Now's not the time for that.
Yes, it is.
No, it isn't. We can talk about this later.
Really?
Sir, you're under arrest.
For pulling into my driveway.
You have the right to remain silent.
Oh, this is going to be great.
You call off.
This is wonderful.
Yeah, the point is wanted to point to your party question. You understand your rights, sir? Do you understand your rights?
I understand my rights.
Good deal. You have your weapons on you, sir.
No, you assaulted me, and I didn't defend myself. Because I, unlike you, actually swore an oath to protect and defend this country. The U.S. Air Force, thank you. I actually know what use of escalated force means. You pull out of your car and pull a weapon on me.
You can release primary.
That's outstanding, without saying any reason whatsoever.
Straight to the side, sir.
You're clear, 025.
And then you would put me into a chokehold for no reason, without even telling me what the problem is. Yeah, I'm looking at you too, officer, big buff guy. Impressive, truly impressive. Tax dollars at work right here. And in case you're wondering why I'm talking out loud, you're on Facebook Live, both of you. So this is outstanding.
Turn over to the side.
You're clear, 025.
Take both your knees, pull up towards your chest. Stand up. Don't matter about yourself. What about all my stuff that's in the middle of the road? You gonna just throw that around too?
There's a severe problem in having these maniacs roam the nation. Honestly, there is a severe problem in having maniacs like this roam the nation. That is terrifying. Get on the ground. Why? Why are you telling me to get on the ground? That's not a bad question, by the way. If some maniac pulls a gun on you or pulls a taser on you as soon as he gets out the car screaming at you to get on the ground, I don't think it's an insane question to say, why are you telling me to get on the ground? Well, apparently that maniac was bothered by that question. Unfortunately, Sam Ronan videotaped all of this. Thing is, though, it's probably not going to matter. These maniacs are going to continue to be able to roam the planet, roam this country, doing shit like this and putting their hands on people without just cause. I've looked up his jail record. Sam Ronan. It's available for anyone to see. This is a mugshot. Failed to comply with order of signal of police, obstructing official business, obstructing justice. But that doesn't tell you why you stopped him. Why did you stop him? What was the reasoning for you to stop him in the first place? I suspect outrage is a pretty decent thing when a cop doesn't necessarily know how to de-escalate a situation, and you're asking him, why are you doing this? Why are you bothering me? Why are you fucking with me? Ultimately, is the question that it boils down to. And this tells none of it. Failure to comply is essentially what was taking place here in that moment when Sam Ronan was asking, why are you arresting me and why are you locking me up? My wife asked the question, he's not black, because oftentimes this is happening to someone with a different skin tone. Look, I don't know why Sam Ronan was so hostile, meaning from a standpoint of, why are you arresting me? Why are you arresting me? I would imagine if it's at 1 a.m, someone's fucking with you, you would ask the question of, why are you doing this? As a natural response to it taking place. My issue here has to do with the level of training of the cops. You shouldn't have to get to that point. Like, talking to him as a human being was the way to go about it. Not necessarily this thing of must taking command of a situation in the most hostile and vulgar and violent way possible. You could have also taken command of the situation by engaging him as a fucking human being. The police system in our country are disastrous. Your training is abysmal. The idea that you walk around the public in this way is utterly repugnant. You shouldn't have to be able to get to this point. Again, as opposed to leveraging intelligence of the agency, which intelligence, I would argue, is the thing that should be leveraged, not necessarily the idea of maniacs. But someone with intelligence, someone with good sense, would have just talked to him as a person, and you could have gotten him to stand down. He's not violent. He's not insane. He's not a maniac. Of everybody who was in this particular disposition, he was the one that made the most sense of asking, Why are you pulling me over? It is the most natural question in the world for somebody to ask. And yeah, I would imagine that someone who's sane and rational would get annoyed if these guys are fucking with you and wouldn't even explain why they're fucking with you in the first place. Utterly amazing that we allow people like this to roam the streets. Utterly amazing. Here's the story itself. The media didn't know much about it either. And I could try to contact Ronan to see what he has to say, but what it's probably going to be is they pulled me over for no reason, and when I asked them why they pulled me over, they wouldn't respond to my questions. A response to the question would have had this night ending in a completely different way. Completely different way. One-time Republican candidate for Ohio's 1st Congressional District, Sam Ronan, was arrested by 2 Springboro police officers early in the morning while streaming the incident live on his Facebook page. The live stream, which has over 10,000 views, showed Ronan yelling at the police officer, demanding to know why he's under arrest. Ronan claims the officers are arresting him without cause and claims assault with excessive force. Ronan tells police they're on Facebook Live after one officer points a taser at him. If he wasn't on Facebook Live, how would this night have ended? How would this night have ended? Probably like many other nights where the person doesn't come home. Ronan was booked into Warren County Jail at 2:41 in the morning and charged with failing to comply with orders or signal of police, obstructing official business, and obstructing justice. What was the business? What was the police business? What was the official business? If you would have told him why he was under arrest, this night would have turned out completely different. This is what I'm getting at in the sense of de-escalation. What are you trained for? Are you trained to deal with an incident as sane human beings, or are you trained like this, looking like a fucking maniac, screaming at another human being? Again, depraved indifference to another person's suffering and authoritarianism, the 2 qualities of a cop. I'm saying that the training and the people who you bring on that job need to have intelligence. That needs to be the first step. Intelligence and rationality. Not this maniac shit that you guys are using. I understand that if a person is being belligerent and if a person is being angry, aggressive, and all, I get it. In pursuant to doing your job, you need to put your hands on people sometimes. If I need to get my dog into the car and my dog is flipping out, I may need to put my hands on my dog to fucking to the car. I understand that. I get it. But Sam Ronan is not a dog. And what Sam Ronan was asking was basic and straightforward. Why are you arresting me and why are you pulling me over? Get on the ground. Wait, can you at the very least tell me why you're arresting me before you're doing this? Or why at the very least you're pulling me over? That's the sane and rational question to ask to somebody who's being belligerent with a gun and with another device in their hand that can literally kill you. You're asking your tax dollars, why are you doing this? And their response is belligerence. That's a problem. That shouldn't happen. Whether you're black, white, alien, somewhere in between, the people who we hire and who we give our tax dollars to that are supposed to protect us and ensure our rights should not be acting like bloodthirsty maniacs like this guy was acting against Ronan. I don't know why they were pulling Ronan over. I don't care why they were pulling Ronan over. What I care about is the means and the methods in which they were using to effect their jobs. And this is well beyond the pale. This is well beyond the pale. Costello West. Thank you, Costello West. Leave a comment. I love it when you leave comments. Police are not trained to be human beings. Wesley Walker. No, they weren't acting like human beings. In that case, they were acting like bloodthirsty animals. Trina, be fine. They're not poorly trained. They're doing what they need to do to make the public afraid of them and be sure to obey when confronted. I think there's a certain type of person that trends towards going into the police force. That's what I think. And I think that certain type of person that trends towards going into the police force gets somewhat of a free pass in the way that we go about trying these people for their crimes. They know that for all intents and purposes, whatever they do, more likely than not, they're going to skate and they're going to get away. Fortunately, he had a video camera on them, and fortunately, he was recording their actions. I am blown away that he was being somewhat defiant on this. even though I don't think he was wrong for being defiant. As a human being, why are you doing this? It is for the society itself to put a chip in these people's heads and rein them back. I mean, they're well beyond the pale in regards to how a police force should behave in our society, seeing as we're paying them with our tax dollars. I mean, that's fucking amazing. Utterly amazing. Cops decided to pull him over. Sam was home, though. He was at home. Pulled into his driveway and got out. The cop flipped the fuck out. He was in his driveway. That's even worse. That's even worse. Bonnie Davis. They're literal child rapists and psychopaths roaming our streets. We need police. Yes, some abuse their power, but many more are daily heroes. Bonnie Davis, I think you're magnificently wrong and you've drunk the Kool-Aid. Daily heroes, my ass. If they were going after psychopaths, fair enough. Sam Ronan is not a psychopath. And unfortunately, this is the shit that takes place all the time. This shit takes place all the time. Let's see. Tara Thrall's pet hacker. Ronan could learn a few things from Masia. Thanks for that. Sam comes off as an opportunist. Masia as a genuine servant. We the people, and that's why green, I'm green. Nobody in the Green Party, Sam would not have made any headway running as a Green. The reason why he ran as a Republican, because he thought that he needed to be part of the two-party system if he was ever going to get elected, and that no one was going to vote for a Green in Ohio. That was his thinking. I don't think it's wrong. Cop decided to pull him over. Sam was home, though. Yeah, I read that part. And no, cops aren't heroes. I don't believe that shit at all. That's propaganda. I mean, ultimately, these guys are drunk on power, and they, in this case, decided to use that power in a way that was untoward. Talking to him as a human being would have ended this night without them putting their hands on Sam. I'm making the point that there was another way to go about their jobs, and oftentimes they don't go about their jobs in that way. Every cop I met has been a lunatic, or at the very least has been drunk on this power thing. Why did you pull me over? Not wanting to answer that particular question. And oftentimes, unfortunately, a lot of people are being pulled over for stupid, dumb shit. Stupid shit. Being pulled over for stupid, dumb shit, I would imagine you would take a certain disposition of why you're being pulled over. I don't think it's crazy at all. Hey Jamal, I'm afraid you're correct. These cops are becoming the rule, not the exception. Gemini Dragon. Yes, I know I'm correct. This is the rule. I can give you 100 cases where video footage of cops flipping out, being maniacs. Cases where they've shot people. I've had the Justice Department did a report in Ohio and did a report in Baltimore, and those reports were dramatically similar, showing cops in those areas behaving in ways that are dramatically insane, bucking their authority or using their authority in ways that is not supposed to be used. And beyond using their authority in these ways that are not necessarily supposed to be used, getting off on it. Do you know in Baltimore, they were telling cops that they should have a toy gun so they can use just in case they accidentally murder somebody? In other case of Baltimore, there was a drug ring where they would rob drug dealers because they didn't think the drug dealers could really go to the law because they were drug dealers. These people are maniacs. These people are utter maniacs. I've been assaulted by a cop that threatened to rape my ex-wife, Jeremy Chase. Public relations is propaganda, Steve Benenson. Yes, it is. Elephants on coke. I hate this. Not all cops are bad argument. Fuck that. I could find you a handful of charming Wall Street bankers if I had to. Yeah, agreed. Rom SL1, they have a badge and they have a gun that make them feel big, like big bullies. They were on the playground. It's time to get serious about reforming our police department. Yes, it is. Sam asked the cop on video, "Are you pulling me over for pulling into my driveway, Ginger Bill?" Because he didn't know why they were pulling him over. Some faction of the law stops a person in their driveway. The person who stopped asked them, "Why are you pulling me over?" And the maniac starts screaming, "Get on the ground! Get on the ground! Get on the goddamn ground!" And Sam is saying, "Why are you pulling me over?" While the guy points a weapon at him. We need to dramatically reform our criminal justice system. And we need to reform law enforcement. These people are maniacs. These people are utter maniacs. I'm not going to keep this one longer. I just wanted to show this. Good on Sam for putting this on videotape. Sam took his life into his own hands showing this. You should not have to get on the ground when some maniac stops you, and your rights should not end the moment that you're engaged with a cop, nor should there ever be a situation where a person is one-on-one with a policeman. Ever. There should never be that situation. If, when a person goes to a doctor, you need a monitor or something in that room if you're a woman and you have a gynecological visit, same should be true for a cop. There should be minders that deal with cops that are not on the side of the cop, but are on the side of the individual and the person when cops are doing their jobs. This should never happen. This should never happen. So, I think you should not have to trust the cop. Won't murder you. Period. And cops should not get the full sway when they get into court and just start telling stuff. That shouldn't happen. These people should not be trusted any more than you should trust politicians or trust anybody else in that matter. They should not be trusted. What you saw here was an assault. This didn't have to take place. So I'll end it here. This one is much longer than I wanted. Yeah, Sam Ronan assaulted, put in jail. You saw the case record for yourself, and I'll put the link to the story at the bottom. I will reach out to Sam to see if he has anything to say about this, but we'll see. Shwari Kate. While walking my neighbor's pit bull unleashed at 11:30 p.m., 2 squad cars swooped in on me, pulled guns on me, across the street from my quiet Palm Street condo in 2005, and I'm Caucasian. Cops are maniacs. Your white skin is not a protection. I'm sorry. I know that white folks think that it is. I know that you think this is an issue that's purely for others, so you don't necessarily like to do anything about it because you figure that cops are keeping those others at bay. It's not the others. And you thinking that this allows the others, allow these maniacs to get military equipment from Iraq, drive around in these Humvees and these tanks on residential streets. You've allowed these people to become maniacs and go stronger in the fact that they've become maniacs and create a justice system that allows these maniacs to get off when they're murdering civilians in our country. Your white skin is not your protection. That's what I'm getting at. I'll leave it here. Alright guys, if you enjoy the content, please feel free to share, like, subscribe, and of course, you can always support through Patreon. I hope Sam is okay, and of course, I consider him a friend of the show. So, be well. Alright guys, have a good one.